All right, addicts, we're here at the local lake. We're gonna film some trout tutorials today. Thought I'd bring you guys along for the ride. We're walking along the trail here, trying to find a good deep water spot to film some of these, because hopefully we can catch some trout in these tutorials today. But number one, what we're gonna talk about is one of my favorite, most deadly baits. And you guys, in a lot of the comments, you guys were all mentioning this when we just put out our marshmallow video. So come along with me. We're gonna show you guys how to rig this up. All right, everyone, so we made it to the spot here, and I'm gonna get one of these rods just out into the water fishing, so hopefully we can catch a fish while I'm showing you guys how to rig this up. So let's bait this guy up, get this rod out here. Basically what we're gonna be showing you guys today is how to fish a marshmallow with a Nightcrawler off the bottom to catch these stalker trout or just wild trout in any lakes or ponds that you're fishing around the world. So stay tuned, tap that subscribe button if you're brand new to our channel, and some trout hopefully coming up next. If you guys remember from a couple weeks ago, we put out a video showing you how to make your own trout bait, and everyone was like, go see if you can catch fish on your own trout bait. So I'm gonna fish these today. These are the ones that I scented in the Procure Salmon Slammer. Basically what we doing is we got a little Nightcrawler on there. We're gonna add that marshmallow onto that hook as well. If that Nightcrawler stops squirming around, like so. And then that marshmallow is gonna float that bait up off the bottom. All right, everyone, so we got a rod soaking out there. I think I need to recast it though, because I didn't get it out there far enough. So we're gonna need to switch weights out on that rod and probably recast it. But before we do, we're gonna talk about how you guys can get out here and rig up this setup to help you catch trout. This is a super effective bait, and literally it's been working for probably since the beginning of trout time. Like since the beginning of these stalker trout, or just trout in general, guys have been using marshmallows, they've been using Nightcrawlers, and they've been combining the two to catch fish. So we're gonna show you how to do that today. And first off, we're gonna start with the rod. Basically, all we have here is an ultralight rod. As you guys hear in a lot of our tutorials, if you've watched them in the past, we really love Okuma. So this is an Okuma Guide Select Pro paired with an Okuma 3000 RTX. But any ultralight trout rod that you have will work. The ultralight portion is gonna be very important just because it makes it more fun. It makes it so these fish, when you're fighting them, you can feel them, and they might be able to pull some line on you. Also, the sensitivity of the rod is gonna be key, and then being able to cast. These ultralight rods are able to cast a ton of weight and fling it out there super far. So with the with the reel, I put braided line on it. This is a 6-pound braid. And I like braid just because, again, it can cast super far. And the other reason is the sensitivity of the braid. You can feel everything with it. And then the line just seems to last a long time. I've had this braided line on my reel for seriously probably like 2 years and haven't switched it out. So I like the braided line for that reason, particularly just because it lasts for freaking ever. But what you're gonna wanna do when you're using braid is always have a top shot of fluorocarbon and all that. So that's what we're gonna show you next. This, like I said, is a 6-pound P-line in that dark green. Most of the lakes we're fishing are gonna be a green color, but try to match the braid color to whatever lake you're fishing or pond you're fishing. So we're going to go on to our first step here, which is gonna be your weight. So I'm gonna use a Dave's Tangle Free. This is basically a lead-free version of a weighting system, but it's nice because it has this little circle on here. Super easy to just basically put it right on your line and let it slide. So it's just gonna sit on your braid and it's gonna slide back and forth. That's super important. We'll tell you why later. Next, what you're gonna do is throw a bead on there to protect your knot. So I'm gonna throw a bead on there, boom. And then you're gonna put your swivel on. I'm gonna tie a double clinch knot here. Hey, one key out there too, guys, is when you're cutting off these, always cut your tag ends off so you don't have a bunch of unwanted line on there. But make sure you do it in a bag or a box or whatever. You don't think a tag end's much, but think about thousands of fishermen out there cutting their tag ends off and letting them lay on the ground. So make sure you put those in your box. So we got the barrel swivel on there now. Next step is gonna be your leader. So I'm using some 6-pound FluoroClear. I like to use any sort of fluorocarbon just because I think that the trout really just can't see it. It's basically invisible to them. So how much leader you use is gonna depend on how deep or how much you want your bait to float up from the bottom. So with these marshmallows, what's gonna happen is when it hits the water, because it's buoyant, it's gonna float your night crawler and your marshmallow up off the bottom. So you're gonna kind of wanna play with that and figure out where the fish are and what water column. Are they hugging really tight to the bottom? Are they suspended off? That's gonna be your judge. You're gonna have to find that out depending on what lake you're fishing. So in this lake in particular, I'm just gonna pull off, say, you know, 3.5, 4 feet there. Cut that off. And then again, so now basically, let's throw up this slack here. Basically what we have is we have our swivel to our bead to our weight. And then you're gonna affix this leader to the other side of the swivel. We're gonna just do the basic fisherman's knot there. Keep looking behind me thinking I'm gonna get a bite. I personally am pretty positive I didn't cast that thing out there far enough. So we're gonna get a new one out. We're gonna finish rigging this up here and we're gonna get this thing blasted out there. All right, so now we got our leader tied onto there. So again, you got your braided line, you got your weight sliding on there to your bead that's gonna protect that weight from hitting your knot, and then swivel to your fluorocarbon. And the last but not least, because you need this to be able to catch your fish, we have our little must-have trout pack here. So we're gonna get size 6 bait holder out of here. And then same thing, we're gonna just use our fisherman's knot to tie that weight on there, or that hook on there. Alrighty everyone, so we got our hook tied on there. Now we're gonna get our bait going here. And got our nice tasty little night crawlers here. I like to get the ones that are skinny, not like the super fat ones. You can see like that one. It's got a nice skinny profile to him because you want to make sure he's not super heavy so it floats up off the bottom. I'm going to take my Gerber scissors. I'm just going to cut him in half. And then I'm going to take that night crawler here. I'm going to thread that up on the hook. The little sucker quit squirming. So you're just going to basically thread that up onto the bait holder like so, just like that. And then you're going to add your mellow. You're going to add your marshmallow. I'm going to go with a little, these are some marshmallows that I made at home. I'll drop a link down below to show you guys how to do that, but I like to make my own bait, kind of, you know, separate myself from the crowd out there. So this one has just a little bit different flavor and scent to them here. And then we're gonna just take that marshmallow and you're gonna just put that straight down the center of that bait, or of that hook. Wormy, that little wormy's in my way, guys. Just like so. And there you have it. You got a Nightcrawler marshmallow combo. All right, everyone, so you can see as I pick this marshmallow and worm up as it hits the water, see how that marshmallow is floating that worm up? That's exactly what you want. So basically now what you have is you have a nice little combo of marshmallow and worm. Let's cast this thing out here and try to catch fish. So when you cast this thing out there, guys, you don't want to like fling it out there really hard, because if you do that, then you're going to lose your marshmallow. So you want to just kind of gently kind of flick that thing out there, but you know, give it a good whip so it gets out there a distance so you know you're out into that zone where those trout are at. And then once your bait hits the water, just kind of give it the line. You want that thing to sink straight to the bottom. Boom, and there you go. As you can see, you'll see that line will stop going out into the water. So now you know it's in the bottom. And then you're gonna find a good spot for this rod to live. I'm gonna put it up right here. And what I like to do is reel up that slack. So I'm gonna reel this slack up just a little, just like that, so I can see when I have a bite. Because if you have too much slack out there, you're not gonna be able to see that trout tapping on the end of that rod. just like so. Now we're fishing. Now we're gonna reel this one up, put some more weight onto it. So if you guys wanna switch out your weights, like if you find that you don't have enough weight on there, you just basically use your scissors, cut that swivel off of there, and then slide this weight and bead back down the line. Hold that bead in your hand and then get into your box of weights here. Where'd she go? Right here. Make sure you're keeping an eye on your rod too. You never know when that thing starts flipping. All right, I think I'm gonna go with something pretty big so I can really get this sucker out there. This guy looks about right. And then what you're gonna do, same thing, just slide that weight up the line. Slide that bead back on there. Tie your swivel back on. Go big time. All right, addicts, so there you have it. Super effective method to get out here and catch trout. Marshmallow, Nightcrawler combo. Make sure you try it on your local lake or pond. We're gonna get back to our rods and hopefully catch some fish. Thanks so much for tuning in, we appreciate it. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and let us know in the comments if this is a little trick that you guys are using. We wanna know. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you on the river.